Our live football tonight is the FA Cup semi-final replay between Manchester United and Oldham Athletic. Main Road is the venue this time. At midday today, there was something like 12,000 tickets left unsold, 6,000 apiece at Old Trafford and Boundary Park. United put theirs on general sale and they went. Oldham couldn't because they were fearful they would end up in the wrong hands. So they've returned 5,500 with their chairman Ian Stott complaining that at £25 and £20 they were priced too high, and he later made an official complaint to the Football Association telling them they were out of touch with the harsh realities of life in the north. So here we go again, and it's got to be settled here. Only 3 clubs capable of winning this trophy this season now: Chelsea, United or Oldham. We're going to have a fabulous night here, but it is a pity that it is soured a little by that ticket controversy. Do you agree with Ian Stott, Phil Thompson?
Very much so. I think they've been out of touch with what happens up here in the northwest, not just now but for a long time. We're not sort of asking for everybody's sympathy up north, but it is reality. It's what happens up here. There's not much money going about, and you can sympathise with the Oldham people. It's cost them maybe £100 a head to get down to Wembley. The tickets are priced far too high for the first game, and quite obviously if it had been here in the first place at Main Road, the tickets wouldn't have been that price, and it had got sold out for the both games without a shadow.
Well, let's concentrate on the football. The team news from the Manchester United dressing room, and it's good news for United supporters, is that Ryan Giggs is fit. Keane and Kanchelskis come back into the starting lineup. No place for Sharp, McClare or Dublin, but Brian Robson starts. How significant is that, Phil?
I think it's a good move by him. I think Manchester United with putting Dublin up front, I don't think it ever works. Even when Cantona plays with Hughes, he always sits off in midfield for my liking. And they have the 5 in there. They leave Hughes up front on his own because I think they are better that way. I think bringing Robbo in there, he'll sit in and compete more for the ball, because I think that's where they've been getting overrun these last few games, Manchester United. Teams have put more players in there and battled Manchester United out of it. Robbo could make that difference tonight. His
presence at Wembley on Saturday when he came on not just settled them, but it got them going too, didn't it? He is full still of desire.
He's that sort of player. He's got a great desire to still do well. That's why I don't know whether he was offered the job at Wolves or whatever. He loves it all still. But he will set a good pattern in there tonight. OK, he might be as quick as he was. Look at him.
He's not moving,
no movement at all. But he will set a pattern. You watch in the first couple of minutes. Robbo will be putting his foot in a nice, generous way, and he'll get Manchester United wound up, which I think maybe they've been lacking a little bit in the last couple of games.
Live football tonight, Manchester United against Oldham. Chelsea wait for the winners. Shell-shocked, Phil, don't they?
They do, don't they? I think everybody was. I think Oldham might have blown the chances, actually. I don't think Manchester United will let them off the hook again. I fancied them to win tonight. I think all round they've got too much, and I don't think they'll let it slip tonight, because he nearly did on Saturday.
All right, match commentators tonight, Martin Tyler and Andy Gray. Andy, what do you think? Have Oldham blown their best chance?
Well, I have to agree with Phil. I think underdogs get one opportunity in cup competitions. They don't take them, and then 9 times out of 10 they lose the replay. But Oldham will be very determined that doesn't happen, always, Phil.
I'll give you one piece of trivia, that the last time Manchester United lost an FA Cup semi-final was back in 1970. A long saga of semi-final matches it was against Leeds, and the team that was waiting to know their opponents in the final 24 years ago was Chelsea. Well, we also have memories of 2 scintillating semi-finals between these 2 sides here 4 years ago, Andy. Yeah. It was very tight on Sunday. Will it open up a little bit more tonight?
I tend to think as well, Martin, if you have a semi-final where the first game is exciting and open and you get 3-3 or 4 each or something like that, the second one tends to be very, very tight. I think, on the other hand, if you get one that's as tight as it was on Sunday, then perhaps the players here will feel they've nothing to lose. They won't want it to go to penalties. Of that we're both sure. So perhaps this one may open up. We may get the entertaining game that Oldham and Manchester United so often produce.
Right, well, let's have a comprehensive look now at the teams. And the replay has given Alec Ferguson the chance to reinstate United's 2 special Ks, Keane and Kanchelskis. Their suspension served. Eric Cantona not yet back in the equation, of course. Brian Robson, who came on as a substitute to good effect, is in from the start tonight. The 3 of the Wembley starters lose their places: Lee Sharp and Brian McClare, who are on the bench, and Dion Dublin.
Well, this is a system that Alec Ferguson started with at the beginning of the season, Martin. It does allow Keane to break forward at will, but I think Ince and Robson will also want to do that, but they'll take turns. The main thing is Kanchelskis and Giggs. If those two, which they will do, bomb forward and get in contact with Mark Hughes, when he holds it up, this is the way that system works.
Oldham collected their share of bumps and bruises on Sunday, notably to Craig Fleming and Nick Henry, but both take their places in an unchanged side. They too have a player available again after a ban, Steve Redmond. He's named as a substitute instead of Mark Brennan. But Joe Royle not totally satisfied by Oldham's proud performance at Wembley. He wants a greater appetite in attack tonight.
Well, on the face of it, Mark, this looks 4-4-2 for me, but I'm just wondering whether Joe, having received the United side, will change. The one thing I would want you to look for tonight is the two wide men, Bernard and Hogan. I think they might just swap sides tonight, because I think with Andrei Kanchelskis returning, who always seems to do well going down this right-hand side, that Bernard is more disciplined, the defender, and it may be that he is swapped wings with Rick Holden, and that will allow Holden to get at Dennis Irwin.
Let's join our match commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. If crowd support counts for anything, Manchester United definitely odds on. By far the greater share looking round the stadium. But Oldham came so close on Sunday. The immediate reaction of Joe Royle's players, immense frustration. But by the time they were halfway home, their mood was of real determination to finish off the job tonight if they can. Manchester United relieved, but not totally surprised, because Alex Ferguson had seen Mark Hughes strike an identical goal 3 days earlier in training. All listening to winning the Test match as well. Parker. Kanchelskis, Keane, important, vital, crucial for Oldham not to concede a goal here. They're at half-time in much better shape than they would have imagined after Dennis Irwin, their old pal, has given them the lead, and Andrei Kanchelskis has struck a super second. But Neil pointed again, just as he did at Wembley, popping up with a vital goal. So much more to come at Main Road at half-time in the semi-final replay. 2-1 to Manchester United.
All of a sudden, Phil, it burst into life in the last 10 minutes of that half.
Yeah, I think so. I think Manchester United had it too easy. They started off really well, they were up for it, they were hungry, Robbo was clattering in as we thought, solid at the back. I think it all got too easy for them.
Opening goal was a beauty, wasn't it?
It was a tremendous goal, great bit of movement as we've seen from Manchester United all season. It's movements off the ball and everything. You think sometimes you're looking wide here, like Ryan's just moving out of the way, he's taking the full-back with him. He's left space in there. It's a great ball for him. If he delays it any longer, and that fella can strike a ball with the best.
And didn't he just?
He does. He keeps his head. As you see, he's a cool lad anyway. He knows what he's doing. Robbo knows what he's like. He loves to have a pot at goal. And it's a great little ball. Just flicked it up there, so it's hard for people to get in the way, get a leg to it. Don't forget it's only up there, but to see his body shape when he's hitting it. Tremendous goal.
And Andrei Kanchelskis got the second goal, and at 2-0, as you say, Manchester United were cruising, but Alex Ferguson's team selection more than justified, isn't it? Robson's made the first, Kanchelskis recalled here, got the second.
I think the look in here, I think everybody's run away. Look at the gap there. Again, the fullback was thinking about Ryan Giggs. And this is where I think it's a tremendous shot. He's not blasted that ball. He's just got his foot behind that and he's clipped it. Because he's not necessarily very good with his left foot. But the fullback stayed wide. And I think this is where Alex Ferguson's gone for the 5 across the middle and Mark Hughes up front on his own. And Giggs, although he's not getting many touches, he's keeping that fullback out there. He's got to realise that's the danger area in there. He should be tucked in and let the ball go out to Giggs and then take it on from there.
Well, Oldham scored from a corner, but let's try and tidy up whether they should have had one. Was the back pass from Brian Robson over the line?
I think if this game was 0-0, Robbo would have kicked that into the stands. There's a time and a place for everything. And that ball's gone over the line.
It has, in your opinion?
So, in my opinion. Instead of being 0-0, Robbo wouldn't have took any chances. He'd have put it further down the line. But because it's 2-0, and really they're overrunning, They'd overrun them for a certain time, but all credit to Oldham. They've come back. Top marks to them.
Well, Neil Poynton scored on Saturday, and he's got them back in it here. Not the prettiest of goals, but my word, how important.
Tremendous. It's just that little touch, isn't it? Like, you always look for sort of great strikes in the box and everything, but you just need a little, but it's like a header sometimes. You don't need to go for a goal, you just need to head some little things down, and it can cause all sorts of problems. And Poynton's alive and alert. He's been like that all evening.
We've got a second half on our hands,
Well,
haven't
that's
we?
it. It's great, isn't it? It's really livened the game up anyway. I still think United have got too much class to lose it, but it's great. Oldham have done great to get back into the game, and I'm really looking forward to the second half.
And they must, as we've heard from Andy and Martin, they came into the match with a belief they could score. They've got to have a go at it now, haven't they?
I think so. Obviously, it looked as though they were a little bit in awe, and to be fair to them, they were being overrun by Manchester United. They were asking all the questions, and they looked as though they'd step back. There was a few people found wanting, and all of a sudden they had this belief in themselves. Hey, well, let's give it a go. And all of a sudden everything started opening for them. Beckford Sharp has been magnificent in the first half. He's rallied them, he's ran himself into the ground, and basically they're in with a shout.
Chelsea are waiting for the winners. Manchester United are in the driving seat here at Main Road, but they are not in the final yet. Sharp reminder from Neil Poynton. On half-time, just how quickly it can change. What have we got coming up in the second half? Before we get going again here with Manchester United leading 2-1, Andy's got an angle on their second goal. Andy.
Yes, thanks, Richard. I think we should admire first and foremost the build-up, and if we run through from when the ball's played up there. Now, if we could just hold that there in the layoff. Now, the first thing that you need to do is this man here, forward midfield runner, making that run into that hole. I'm talked about this guy here, Mark Hughes, been one of the best with his back to goal. He just drops the ball in there, and from this moment, then Manchester United are up. And if we take it from there, they're off and running. Now suddenly this man's got a problem, hasn't he? He's worried about Kanchelskis, he's worried about the ball going there. He does that now. What he wants to do, if we hold it there, what he does, ideally wants to do, and I couldn't agree more, is send him in here. And Kanchelskis most definitely is a danger going down that way. So if you run it on from there, this is what happens. Look across, plenty blue jerseys there. I'll send them on. Great, no danger. Send them on, no danger. No danger there. Now, hold it there. Just a little bit further. A little bit further, please. There, hold it. Now, this is where it's gone wrong for them, is the full-back there. If he's got himself in an area there, even there, anywhere along there, and touch with Richard Jobson, then the only way Andrew Kanchelskis can score is by beating him. Now, he wants the ball really to be going that way, because once it's gone there, then players can come across, players can come across, players can come across, and Ryan Giggs has to do it all again. So it's just a piece of bad positioning that's allowed Kanchelskis to start in there. And to be fair, what they don't have, they're not really expecting that. And had that been a player of less quality and confidence, then perhaps he might not have scored.
Thanks, Andy. They weren't expecting that either, Phil, because it was on his left side, I would have thought.
Well, that's it. I think everybody's starting to sort of knock off. They're not live and alert. He's coming across there, as Andy says. They're doing the right thing, sending him there, left-footed. Then they all knock off. They're all leaving it to one another. But I think the basic thing is Giggs has took up a good position. That's what a lot of people will basically think, and he's not getting many kicks. But what he's doing is great for the team, because he's basically pulling their defence out. Even Mark Hughes up there, put big gaps alongside him.
Well, at 2-0, they had a right maybe to think it had gone away from them, but at 2-1, Oldham are in with a real shout here, aren't they?
I think they're with a chance, and they deserve it, because they could have easily have laid down and sort of let Manchester United run all over them. But they've took it upon them, and they've had a go. There's a couple of them who sort of basically haven't. I think Graham Sharp's been great. He's led the line really well. He's having a go all the time, because Bruce and Pallister are in fine form, and it's took the likes of Sharpie with his experience to have a go. And the rest of them have rallied behind him, I believe.
Should it go 2-2, who would you fancy then?
I still think Manchester United have got too much for them. I really do. Sounds great, this coming from me, doesn't it?
Scouser, yes, it does. They'll never forgive you. Main Road's the venue. 2-1 to Manchester United for a place in the final against Chelsea. Here's Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Oldham first out. Perhaps no surprise in that, wanting to pick it up where they left off, and maybe feeling that the psychological side of things, which of course is so often important in knockout football, things might just be turning their way. Neil Poynton's goal looked as though it would win the day for them at Wembley. What it's done here is just give them a foothold
Just think of Neil Point, wasn't he telling us downstairs, Dave Sharp, that his dad, Neil Poynton's dad, had a bet on him to score first goal at Wembley, and his dad went to the bookmakers after it to be told, sorry pal, we only pay out in 90 minutes.
That's absolutely right.
Joker.
28 to 1 he was. And he's 25 to 1 today. Well, he didn't get the first goal today. That was...
He obviously frightened the bookmakers, though, Martin. Reduced his odds dramatically.
So the club that has won the FA Cup 7 times prepared to start the second half against the side that's looking to get into the final for the first time in their 99-year history. Robson tries again. Parker. Corner conceded by Fleming.
I think that's part of the reason Ryan Giggs has been in the game so little, Mark, is that right side has been so fruitful for them going forward. Rick Holden offers some defensive possibilities on this near side, and perhaps that's why Ryan Giggs isn't seeing as much of the ball as Paul Parker and Andrew Kanchelskis.
Giggs with an involvement in taking the corners from the right with his left foot. Oh, Horwath missed it. Robson. The net was vacant, and it's 3-1. Horwath absolutely devastated by it. Robson thrilled, and so are those on the Manchester United bench.
Well, it's Robson of all. Look at the goalkeeper. Into no man's land, gets nowhere near it. And there's an example. You don't have to get a nice crisp volley, you don't have to get a nice crisp header. Just get anything you want on it. You can't get by Mark Hughes. He stands his ground. He's entitled to do that. Watch it closely. Hughes, the goalkeeper comes out. Hughes stands his ground. He gets nowhere near it. And that's a present. That's all you can say.
Well, it virtually hit him and went in. And here's Robson. Andy, you made the point that it's the formation that Alec Ferguson used right at the start of the season at Norwich, the first Premiership game. Robson scored in that game. He scored here tonight, but John Horwath knows that he was guilty of misjudgment. Giggs, found by Kanchelskis. Ryan Giggs going his own way, gets a second chance. 4-1.
Well, you feel for the defender, don't you? If things aren't bad enough, breaks aren't going your way. He thinks he's done his job. He blocks the first shot, and what happens? Robson comes across, he thinks, I'll hold him up, I've done the job. But no, Giggs was alive and alert. And it really is all over for Oldham now.
Manchester United can make their plans for May the 14th. Drilled in by Giggs, who certainly made the very most of the second opportunity. Here goes Poynton.
It was almost drilled in with a bit of anger, as if to say, well, I haven't had a lot of the ball this half or this game, so I'm going to just hammer this one and drilled it in.
We start at 4:30, that's live on our Super Sunday, also on Sky One. We switch to Ellen Road. Leeds still looking for possible European qualification. Tottenham looking to get enough points to stay in the Premiership. A lot riding on that game as well. Richie.
Said it right at the beginning, Mike. They looked up for it and ready for it. They wondered whether they'd taken their foot off the gas at 2-0 and allowed Oldham into the game, and whether they could pick it up again. Well, they certainly have been able to pick it up again in this second half.
Well, the crowd just under 4,000 short of capacity, and it's short in support for Oldham Athletic. They didn't sell their full allocation.
But when it mattered most, they've just been found wanting.
It's a Manchester United-Chelsea FA Cup final. All credit to Alec Ferguson for his team selection. He plumped for Brian Robson, who scored a critical third goal in this 4-1 win. United started so well. Andrei Kanchelskis also back in the side tonight after suspension with a terrific goal and an all-round terrific performance. Dennis Irwin got the first, Ryan Giggs the fourth, firing home to rub salt in Oldham's deepening wounds. John Hallworth will feel the pain of the way that third goal for United tonight went in. But really, United perhaps shouldn't have been given the second chance. That's what Oldham will think. The closest of shaves for them on Sunday. Oldham, ever haunted now by that Mark Hughes equaliser at Wembley, unable to make club history. A great deal of sympathy around the country, I'm sure, for Joe Royle and his players, who now have to turn their minds back to preserving a place in the Premiership. Ferguson extending his 100% record in all his semi-finals as manager of Manchester United. Andy, they've looked the business tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have. I couldn't agree more with that remark, Mark. They have looked the business. And that would probably worry Blackburn Rovers more than anything. Bang at it from the word go.
Well, Oldham worked United so hard at Wembley, and at times again tonight when they got their goal and at the start of the second half. But this semi-final, like the first, has finally gone to form. 4-1 to Manchester United.